Hello, my friends. We're going to talk about the astrology for March 19th, 20th, and the 21st. This is about Mercury in Aries. This is about the equinox and then the new moon in Aries and how we can use that. And I'm going to touch on the new moon eclipse that we have on April 20th, the 19th for some of you, and why that's significant too. This new moon, this shift into the new cardinal energy that we're about to enter is incredibly significant. Lots of action. That's what Aries is all about, taking action and not thinking things through. But it's just that it's that beautiful, innocent energy of taking action, but there's a lot of diversity going on with that too. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen with you. And and just as for those of you who haven't seen these forecasts before, I don't use the ascendant in midheaven, and I don't talk about house placements because we are all somewhere on this round, big old blue ball of ours. So our time zones are different, house placements will be different. That's real technical astrology for some of you, I know. But let's get started with what we want to use here. I'm going to make this simple so we have an opportunity, no matter what your astrology level of knowledge is, you're going to be able to use this in your own life. And that's always been my intent and the purpose of my videos. All right. So before we get to the equinox, before the new moon in the sign of Aries, we have Mercury moving. Ingress means it enters the sign, a new sign. Ingress is what that word means. Mercury enters the sign of Aries. Let me get rid of my face here. You don't need to see me. And that's what this looks like. This is what it is from my latitude and longitude. It's on March 19th, but if you live further west of the east coast of the US, it's going to be on March 18th. Mercury entering the sign of Aries. It is about initiating new action. Where in my brain, right? We're thinking that Mercury is about, it's about thinking, it's about communicating. It is also about our traffic, right? Our local traffic, driving, you know, the things and the forms of transportation we use that is local. So to go to work, to go to the grocery store. So it's cars, it's buses, it's trains, domestic flights. That's all Mercury energy. It's in the sign of Aries while the sun is still in Pisces. So with it in the sign of Aries, Mercury is initiating the action of the equinox that we have coming up and the new moon that we have coming up. So pay attention to the messages you're receiving. Pay attention to the hints and the clues that you're getting, that maybe you need to fix your car. Maybe you want to buy a month's worth of bus tickets. You know, whatever your thinking process is, writing things down and taking action there, as well as how you get around your neighborhood or domestically. Pay attention to that too, because there is a lot of action there. That Aries action, it's cardinal fire. So that's one of the cardinal points, 0 Aries. And the point of that is it's like being born. It's a birth. It's a new beginning. It's the beginning of the zodiac. So while we're in this last lunar phase on the 19th, we're in the balsamic lunar phase. So it's about releasing, paying attention to the things that we need to shed so we can prepare for what is fresh and new. We have that going on with Mercury already. We get a heads up. So on one hand, we're prepping and preparing and receiving information from Mercury and Aries. And then I want you to also remember, or just to be aware of, especially the 19th and the 20th, until we get to the new moon, we are in that balsamic lunar phase. And again, that represents a period of reflection and release and going within and really distilling information. It's like, what can I shed? Because these last couple of days before the equinox is always important because it's the end of the whole zodiac, the whole astrological year. But the timing of the moon matches this beautifully. Honor that you need quiet time, honor that you need to slow down. That is a piece of what we have for March 19th, balsamic lunar phase and Mercury in the sign of Aries. So wow, right? That is a ton of stuff. I'm going to stop my share for a moment. That's a ton of information for us just to process before we get to the equinox and before we get to the new moon. Yeah, I know it's big. All right, so let's go to the next chart. Let's see if I can share my screen again. There we are. There it is. Let's go to the next chart. And this is the spring equinox. Now, the spring equinox is on March 20th, and it is at 5:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So again, adjust according to your own time zone. Now, of course, this is the astrological International Astrology Day. So we're loving this, and it's a beautiful week. And so the sun entering the sign of Aries, that's actually a place in space. So it's actually the science. It's just where the celestial equator and the path, the ecliptic, the path of the sun, where they meet, and they meet at the equinoxes. So they meet at 0 Aries and they meet at 0 Libra. So that's first day of spring and first day of fall. Flip it if you're on the other hemisphere, if you're in the southern hemisphere. The energy of this represents, again, new opportunities. However, I want to point out we are still, let me grab my drawing tool, we are still in that balsamic lunar phase. You can see it right here. That is, the moon is in Pisces while the sun is in Aries. So the moon is moving towards the sun like that. That's a lot of arrows, isn't it? So we're in the balsamic lunar phase. So while the sun is in Aries and it says, let's go, it's like at a race when they, when it's time to go, right? It's like shooting of the gun, the initiating moment, boom, it's Aries, it's time to go. And that is innocent energy, and it's pure energy, and it is requiring us and asking us to be as authentic as possible and to step into the unknown. But no, we don't think things through when we have 0 Aries, because again, it is just representative. It's represented of, just taking chances without thinking things through. So it's about being you, right? This is wherever your Aries is in your astrology. You do have to find that, because there is a base of the astrology chart, and then we have our own, and it's just like a roulette wheel where the base wheel is there, and then we throw the marbles going around and things are spinning and everything stops in different places. So all of us are different, but all of us have 0 Aries somewhere in our chart. 0 Aries, 0 Libra, 0 Cancer, and Capricorn. Those are the 4 corners, the 4 directions, the 4 cardinal points. Incredibly important. If you have anything at 0 degrees of those 4 signs, this is the time of year where you really will feel like there's a lot of initiation happening, right? I have a moon at 0 Capricorn. This is the season changes for me always stir up a lot for me regarding the moon relating things. So for you with the sun in Aries, just consider that every year at this time, you are starting something new. You feel like you want to start something new. You feel inspired somewhere in your life. And if you don't know what house it is in your own astrology chart, that's okay, because you just slow yourself down. We're still in that balsamic lunar phase, and close your eyes and feel in the categories in your life what you're feeling like you're ready to begin something fresh and new. We have to wait till the new moon, though. That's coming up. That's what this whole forecast is supposed to be about. But we have a lot of prep for this new moon, which is really significant. So new beginnings, in being inspired, actually having the courage, the courage to take a step forward with no abandon, is that the right way to say it? I think it is. Just to step forward without thinking, no reservations is a better way to say it. I want you to process that. That, to me, that is what we're really looking for. And when we come to this equinox with the sun at 0 Aries. But again, just like when the Mercury was at 0 Aries just the day before on the 19th, we still have that moon in the balsamic lunar phase. And that tells us that we are also simultaneously needing to honor who we are, needing to honor the inner time, to sleep well. Some of us don't sleep well, but if you do, whatever, just find the way that you can relax what is overwhelming you. Okay, this is something that is super important for all of us at this point in time. So find that space within you to know that you want to initiate something new. Identify what that is. That's what we can do with this energy. We don't need to start the race yet. We don't need to take action yet. We want to wait until we get a little further into that new moon phase. And that's this chart right here. Okay. I want to make sure I'm sharing the right chart. Yes, I am. Good. That is this chart right here. So the new moon is on March 21st. It's at 1:23 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So you adjust according to your own time zone, please. And so here is when we will feel even more motivated to initiate action. Boy, oh boy, do we have a pile up here, don't we? I mean, it doesn't take an astrologer. You can just visually see this, how we have so many things just really squeezed into a very small area of the zodiac. I mean, we do have Mars and Pluto on the outskirts, but when people are born right now with this type of energy, they're going to be highly focused on just 3 zodiac signs for the most part. So there is a lot going on with that. What do we do with this new moon? Now, the new moons is when you sit down and you write your rituals and you light candles and you initiate action, or at least write it out. I want us always, every new moon starts a lunar cycle, but every new moon also starts a longer 3-year lunar gestation cycle, which that I do talk about on Patreon. So if you're not there watching this early, because you guys get Patreon gets this early and YouTube, you get it a little later. I talk about that a lot over in my Patreon platform. So you're welcome to join us there if you like. Commercial's over. It's just my commercial. What do we want to do with this new moon in Aries is to, again, sit down. It's really plain. It's really simple. What actions do you want to take? If you've done any meditation while we're in that balsamic phase on the 19th and the 20th, great idea to do. I'm going to remind you of that. Then you know what things and what categories you want to initiate action in with this new moon. And again, this is what the new moon looks like when they're both in the same degree and minute. And this is an opportunity for you to initiate something new. Aries represents, now in our chart, Aries is where we want to be. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be plain and simple. It's okay to be selfish right now. It's okay that's what Aries is about. Don't feel uncomfortable with it. And if you do, then sit with it but really make some decisions and set some goals off of what it is that you need, not based off of anybody else. You can do that in other ways. But I promise you, when you're making your new moon goals, wishes, whatever rituals you like to do, or even just write down how you're feeling, I want you to please take that time and do this for you and you alone. All right. What is it that you want without thinking about anybody else? What would you want if there were no restrictions on you? Because we tend to do that because a lot of us, excuse me, do think about other people. So I want you to process that. And that is what we get with this new moon. So the 19th, I got more, don't go away. The 19th, Mercury in Aries, we can receive messages and focus on our communication, our written skills, our verbalizing, and how we're thinking, as well as if it's a concern for you, as well as your transportation, right? Whatever that is, car, bus, train, planes. We've had a lot of issues around that in this country lately. So, what does it mean to you personally? Because it's Aries, okay? Personally. And then the equinox, when the sun enters Aries, focusing on what you need. You can even have a meltdown during this because you can get really angry and pissed off and mad. That Aries energy can feel that way because it's aggressive, it's assertive. And sometimes we can feel angry with this if we've been holding it in and not getting our own needs met. And the balsamic moon during that equinox is super important. And then we get to this new moon on March 21st. And this is when you can, really take, if you're angry about something, how can you change it? What is it that you need? And then it's not necessarily soft energy because it's Aries. It's about just taking chances and having the courage to do something and say something and take action somewhere. I want you to do all of these things. It's very important. This is such an important seed to plant. And the reason I'm going to say, and there is that, and we'll talk about the next chart more later, but I am jumping ahead now to the solar eclipse because a month from the new moon, we have another new moon, and it is a solar eclipse. It's a hybrid eclipse. It's very, very south on the planet. It is in the northwest part of Australia, through like Indonesia and all of that area of the globe. It's really short eclipse. It doesn't last very long. And that's where it's visualized. And that's where there will be typically wherever the solar eclipses are visual or able to be seen, it creates, there's usually big weather. There's big issues that year. Sorry, guys. The U.S. had it a few years ago. We'll have it again next year. We wait till April 2024. We have some stuff going across country. Crisscrosses the eclipse from August of what was that, 2018. Okay, I digressed. Why did I come to this one? It's because this new moon solar eclipse on April 20th, it's April 20th, just after midnight Eastern Daylight Time. So the rest of the United States, Eastern West. If you go further west, it's going to be on the night of the 19th. It's at the very end of Aries. All right. Here we are. The new moon in Aries on March 21st is at 0 degrees. Don't worry about where it's placed in this wheel. That's not the point today. And then on April 20th, April 19th, April 20th, we have this new moon solar eclipse at 29 Aries. So we have a parentheses around the Aries. New moon that started at 0 and another new moon that ends at 29. This is going to be, they say March is a busy month because of all the shifts we have. Saturn in Pisces, Pluto in Aquarius, Mars in Cancer, and it is. And we have all of these Aries things going on up around the equinox. Big. But if you do not take action where you need to take action, this new moon at the very, very end of Aries is an opportunity to do it, to finalize something, even though it's a new moon, but to finalize something that is really important for you. It's taking that energy. It's the maturity of like the Fool card. I was just talking to my dearest friend and just a little while ago, and we were talking about the Fool card. I pulled it. It got pulled in a reading I had a few times recently. It came up twice. And of course, the Tower card came up first. I'm under some heavy, heavy transits. These things are really, Pluto's kicking my ass, as well as Uranus, as well as Jupiter, and these equinox aspects. So I'm under a lot of pressure. And we talked about the Fool card, and the Fool card, it's not 0 Aries, but it would be 29 Aries because it's maturity. Right? It's the person who's leaving things behind and stepping into something new. I want you to really pay attention to this. We'll talk about it more when it gets closer. But if we take the new moon that we have here on March 21st and really set something into motion, or at least set some goals that you want to take action on, when we get to the new moon eclipse on April 19th, April 20th, at the very end of Aries, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of maturity to this. And it's leaving things behind so you can begin something new. And where does it start? It starts right here. It starts on March 21st. So this is a very intentional, I'm going to stop my share if I can let the button do what it does. Yes, it's very intentional. So you have some tools to work with here with the new moon, with Mercury in Aries, the equinox, the new moon in Aries, Pluto changing into Aquarius, 0 Aquarius. That will happen on the 23rd. You guys, it's where we needing to let things go. And we can see a lot of stuff going on with finances in the world, etc. Because a lot of things still need to break down. Pluto's still in Capricorn at the time of this recording. I'm recording this on the 14th. And a lot of banks have just gone belly up. All right. And I know that's not funny at all. That's scary stuff. But take action. I don't know why I brought it up. I forget already. Oh, the Pluto at the end of Capricorn. It's reminding us of what we should be learning since 2008. And we have the same thing going on with this new moon, right? On March 21st, we have an astrological month. So when we get to the solar eclipse on April 20th, we have that month. Where are you taking action? Where is that Aries in your own chart? Because you're always feeling the need to take action where you hold your Aries. And if that doesn't make any sense to you, that's okay too. Pay attention to what the voices you hear, the pushes you're getting from the universe. Don't wait. All right. I could keep talking. I'm going to stop right there because that was more than the new moon in Aries. That was the new moon in Aries and a hint about the solar eclipse, equinox. Yeah, guys, comments below. I am the only one who works here. I will answer questions best I can. If they're too personal, you might have to get a session, but I'll answer questions as best I can. So put that comments below. And thank you so much. Please comment, like, and share. Always helps things grow. Blessings, everybody, and namaste.